do any other animals tend to find their identity in their color, even though they are the same species like humans with race? And mammals, nothing came to me exactly, although there may well be different coat colors within non-domesticated species. But the example that really sprang to mind was you know where I'm going.
I know exactly.
You know exactly where I'm going.
Yep.
The Bastamantos, right? So the Bocas del Toro archipelago in Panama has many delights. One of them is that it has on it a species of dark poison frog, which was the first clade of frogs that I was studying with regard to their sexual selection and territorial behavior and parental care behavior. And it's no longer Dendrobates, it's Oophagia, I think, Pumilio. And they have in the Bocas archipelago so many morphs. It's really incredible. So in Costa Rica, where they are more common, they're called the blue jeans frog. They're bright red on their backs. They have bright blue legs. And if you flip them over, they have these like pale neon blue dots on their venters, on their stomachs. And in mainland Panama, they tend to not have blue jeans as much. But on these islands, they have every color under the sun. There are yellow ones, there are orange ones, there are green ones, there are, I don't think purple, but sort of deep blue, and of course there are red, and each of them come with spots sometimes and without spots other times. Pretty much all the actually aposematically colored Dendrobatids, the dark poison frogs, have these pale blue, neon blue dots on their stomachs, but when under normal circumstances, you don't normally see frogs flipped upside down. They look so different from one another, and they do seem to be mating assortatively based on color. And so that's a long-winded way of getting to an answer. It's not a mammal, but it is an animal of an organism that is doing mate choice decisions based on color. And you have something there you want to show us?
Well, I'm trying to find one of these posters, but I want to make sure it's of the right species before I forward it to Zach. Does that look right to you?
Yeah. Well, no, not all of those are Pumilio. So
right.
Some of those are Pumilio, but not all of them.
So Kyle, who has done a lot of work on
Kyle Summers
mate choice in these frogs, has found positive assortative mating.
Yes, I have not gone back and looked at his papers, but that's what I remember. Yes.
So let me just say, whether that is
positive assortative mating, meaning what you are like with regard to whatever character it is that you're thinking about, you tend to choose the same thing. Negative assortative mating being whatever character you're attending to, you tend to choose the opposite thing in a mate. So yes, I believe that Kyle Summers has found positive assortative mating with regard to color morph in Oophagia Pumilio in the Bocas del Toro archipelago of Panama. That was a lot of words that probably are meaningless to most people.
No, but let's just put it to you this way. There are good reasons that this could happen. For example, color morph may be arbitrary, but it can be an indicator of lineage, and there are reasons that creatures might prefer to mate at some distance from self, but within lineage. So that is an awkward fact, but it nonetheless, it's not hard to find logic by which that would evolutionarily be favored. And I would just say, in my dissertation, I deployed an argument whereby this might even work in plants, right? And the example I used was hydrangeas. And the thing is, hydrangeas, their color, the color of the flowers, is dependent on soil pH.
Yep.
And my argument was that plants could use the eyes of insects to choose a mate. And they would do this if you had a, let's say, blue morph of hydrangea. Blue morph indicates what soil type it is growing in. So a plant that has successfully grown in, let's say, acidic soils, has gotten to the point of flowering and is looking for a mate, well, its seeds are very likely to end up in acidic soils, because if you had to guess what soil type the seeds would land in from an adult, if the adult is in acidic soils, the offspring are liable to end up there. So it wouldn't want a hydrangea that was well adapted to basic soils. And so how do you figure this out if you don't have eyes and you can't see your mate because it's a pollen grain you're looking for? Well, you might put up a blue flower. To whatever extent there's a bias in insects towards blue, or a particular insect toward blue, that insect would tend to go from a blue hydrangea to a blue hydrangea rather than from a red hydrangea to a blue hydrangea. And this could provide some bias whereby a plant with no eyes could see a potential mate and choose one over another.
Flowers, pollinators doing the flowers' bidding, as they do in many regards, but specifically having their eyes borrowed.
Yes.
Very good.
Plants borrowing the eyes of insects.
Very nice.